Hey fellow Benzo warriors, I'm here to make what is hopefully a short video about something that I think is one of the most crucial things that we can do to help ourselves in benzo recovery. It's one of the simplest things, and at the same time it's one of the most difficult things for us to do for ourselves, and that is proper nutrition. And I'm not just talking about getting enough food, I'm talking about getting enough of the right foods to reduce the stress on our bodies, to reduce insulin and cortisol spikes, just stress reactions, to help our bodies to heal and recover, and to help eliminate glutamate from our systems. For people who don't know, when you have downregulation of GABA, which benzodiazepines and Zdrugs create, you're going to have an excess of glutamate, which is the excitatory kind of neurotransmitter or whatever. I'm sure I'm not using the right terminology. I apologize. But it's a lot of what leads to the stress and everything that's going on and the craziness in our brains and our bodies. So just to give you an idea, I already ate pretty healthy before going through all of this, before I got put on Ambien and Ativan and Cymbalta. I was a teacher, and I taught PE and health for a little while too, but I was having to work part-time after I had kids, and I ended up working as a nutritionist supplement counselor at a health food store. And I kind of experimented with different diets. I did, vegan for a while. I did raw vegan. I did low carb. I just tried out various things to see what worked best for me, and they were all good when I was healthy, and it was all good and well. But then comes withdrawals. And one of the first things that I noticed, and this is really important, is that in getting off of both Cymbalta and the benzodiazepine, I noticed that my insulin had been affected drastically. I mean, when I cold turkeyed off Cymbalta, I would eat even just a small amount of a carbohydrate, and I'd just get crazy jittery. And I noticed the same thing then when I tried to get off the benzodiazepine. So initially, I limited my carbohydrate intake, which seemed to help. But as I improved, and once I got off and finished my taper, I figured I could handle carbohydrates again, because they didn't seem to make me jittery anymore. But what I didn't realize is that the ways in which I was eating carbohydrates, because I'm not saying don't eat any, but eating them the way that I was, they were still very much affecting me. So what's been happening with me is when I got off, about 2 months after, I started kind of exercising more, I started eating out more and doing things, I hit this wall. I just hit this wall and I went backwards. I felt like I was right back into the symptoms of withdrawal. I couldn't believe how poorly I was doing. I felt sometimes like I was even back in acute. It was just awful. I developed horrible insomnia. And, I started asking and for help and looking to the people who have recovered. And something that I noticed that everyone who has recovered well and maybe had a really as difficult time as I did is they all adhere to a very strict diet. And they also recommended going and seeing a functional medicine doctor. Now, a functional medicine doctor is really what I believe every doctor should be. When you go into them, they don't just use their limited knowledge of pharmaceuticals to try and take care of whatever symptoms you're experiencing. They will go in, they will look at nutrition, they will look at genetics. I did get genetic testing done. I think that is really important. He and I haven't gone into that in as much. I've only had one meeting with this guy. So we're going to go into that more next time, hopefully. But they will look at diet, they will look at environment, they will look at everything and use something that most doctors seem to be missing these days that I've encountered, which is deductive reasoning, to figure out what's going on. I couldn't believe, after a 45-minute meeting with this guy, he understood about downregulated GABA receptors. He understood about having been floxed on fluoroquinolone antibiotics and was very concerned when he heard that I had been floxed twice. And so one thing that he changed for me right away that I noticed a difference almost immediately within the first 24 hours, symptomatically, I had improved. And that is he increased my protein intake. I'm about 5'4", and at the time I weighed about 126. I've actually lost some weight since then. But he increased my protein intake to 150 milligrams a day. Now, even with all the diets that I had done before, I had never really made a conscious effort to increase my protein by that much. And it would be hard to even do that, I think, without using some sort of a protein supplement. And I never took protein supplements because to me they were too processed. They were made from dairy and I just wouldn't have done that. So it wasn't really something I had considered before seeing this doctor. It made such a big difference for me. And that's why I'm here kind of giving you part of the information, because I feel like there's a lot more that needs to be said on this. But I just think right now, initially, if there's one thing that you can do to help yourself, it's to balance out your diet so that you're not spiking insulin and you're not having these cortisol spikes and surges all day long. And then that carries into nighttime when you're trying to sleep, and then your sleep hormones are all out of whack and crazy and you're not sleeping. I started sleeping so well. I actually just kind of got off track a little bit because we took a little vacation to go visit family, and so I'm still sleeping like 7 hours. So it's huge. It's big, guys. And if you haven't considered this, please do. I'm just going to kind of tell you what I'm eating. And it's not perfect, and I'm not saying that everyone needs to do exactly what I'm doing, but I know how hard it is to try and change your diet when you have no idea what to eat. And when you're afraid to eat anything anyway, because you never know what's going to set you off. You never know what it was that just put you into a wave, or could I not get to sleep tonight because of something I just ate, or is it because of something I didn't eat? And you're standing there in front of the fridge, and then you just give up and walk away because you don't know what to eat, and your stomach's a mess anyway. So it's like, it's so hard. I get it. I know. I have been there. So for those of you who are still tapering, I think it's helpful at least just to have an idea of what is safe for me to eat, and just have a plan that, okay, this is what I'm going to eat for breakfast. This is what I'm going to eat for dinner. This is what I'm going to eat for lunch. These are going to be my snacks, and that's it. And then you can kind of just feel safe and know, okay, these are the things I'm eating. And so if I go into a bad wave, it's not necessarily because of anything I ate. It's just part of the process, and I can accept that and move on. For those people who have finished tapering, I think that if you're still having a hard time, in my own personal experience, if you're a couple months out and you're still doing poorly, or you suddenly get hit by a bad wave, and I have a friend I know who 12 months out got hit with a wave. She was doing great. Told her success story, and then 12 months out, she developed insomnia, was doing awful. She changed her diet, and now she's better. So if you're not doing well, I think you really have to consider that diet is going to be a huge part of this. So I'm just going to kind of tell you what I eat, and you go from there. In the mornings, I make a smoothie. I put 1.5 cups of water in a blender, and I put in a stalk of celery. And again, remember, I'm trying to kind of lose weight, or I was, and so, I'm going to add in more fats and carbs when I get back down to a healthy weight. But I add in a stalk of celery, I add in either spinach or mixed greens, and I add in some ginger, some raw ginger to help with the pain and the inflammation. And I add in broccoli sprouts. That's crucial. I'm going to talk about that. And then I will throw in a protein powder. And I have to say, I can't just take a protein powder by itself. It will kind of set me off. And it did take me a few days to adjust to eating protein supplements, but it was worth it because I noticed a difference right away. The one that I use in the mornings, it's called Vega Protein or Vega Protein. I think that's what it's called. And it's really clean. It's just a mixture of various seeds and sprouts, things like that, and it's flavored with stevia. So I consider that to be pretty safe. And I really like this one. I respond really well to this. They have a couple flavors, not a ton. Then around noon, and I have to make sure to eat right on time. I can't mess around with my schedule. I gotta eat right on time. So at lunchtime, I will eat a salad and I will eat 4 ounces of chicken. So that's like a chicken breast or like half a can of chicken. And I'll make myself a salad with some avocado and tomatoes and broccoli sprouts again. And I will make my own dressing out of sesame seed oil, something called Bragg's liquid aminos, lime. I'll juice a lime and I'll put on some cayenne pepper again for digestion and inflammation. It's just another helpful kind of way to supplement your diet. The reason why broccoli sprouts are so important, my doctor, he's also a naturopath, so he will prescribe supplements and things. But he knew, given my condition, that I was too I was too sensitive to start in just taking a bunch of supplements. So instead of prescribing me NAC, which is one that N-acetylcysteine, he prescribed me broccoli sprouts. I'm eating them. I've ordered some online in capsule form. I'm slowly working my way up to that one. And what broccoli sprouts do is they help to displace glutamate in your body. So for those of you who know, you have elevated glutamate when you have reduced GABA. And I'm sure I'm not getting all the science here right. I apologize. But basically what it does is it helps get excess glutamate out of your system, which displaces GABA. So it's like a vicious cycle. If you don't have enough GABA, then glutamate comes in, displaces the GABA, and it just keeps going and going and going. You've got to get your body out of crisis mode and help eliminate excess glutamate. That's what's going on. That's why I'm doing this. If you decide to take any supplements, I suggest starting really slow. And only start one at a time. Don't start a couple supplements at once, so that you can see how you react and gradually build your way up. Again, I'm eating large amounts of broccoli sprouts for breakfast and lunch, so I'm working my way up. All right, so that would be my lunch. Then I have an afternoon snack in which I will often use a whey protein. There's some really great organic, free-range whey proteins that are, again, flavored with stevia or erythritol, different natural things like that. I used goat whey because I found that initially I didn't respond well to regular whey. It gave me kind of sour stomach. And so I like this one, but there are other really good ones there that you can find online. And I will mix that with soaked almonds. I just soak and dehydrate my almonds because it's a health thing. But anyway, almonds and mixed berries. So it's berries that, have blackberries and raspberries and blueberries. So it's a little lower. It's not as high glycemically as like maybe just strawberries or adding in a banana or something. And I'll either mix that with a cup of water or a cup of kefir. You could do yogurt if you wanted to do that. And that's my afternoon snack. And then for dinner, I will do 4 ounces again of meat. I will do a salmon fillet, or I will do 4 ounces of chicken or 4 ounces of beef or whatever. And then I will have some wild rice, or I will do sweet potato. And so far, that's kind of where I'm at. Those seem to be the safe things for me to eat right now. I've tried quinoa. I'm going to try it again. I used to eat a ton of quinoa, but it just seemed to upset my stomach right now. And then I will eat broccoli or green beans or peas or, something like that. And then I have another snack at night. And oftentimes I'll do shrimp or I'll do corn tortillas. I seem to do well with corn tortillas, so I'll make myself shrimp tacos. So those are just that's like an idea of just what a day for me looks like. I'm trying to add in more carbs at lunch, so I will eat leftover rice or leftover sweet potato with cinnamon and butter. I'll throw coconut oil in with my rice, or butter, things like that in with my vegetables to make sure I'm getting enough fats. And that's a pretty basic kind of low carb or low glycemic type of diet that should kind of help you to get an idea of what you can eat each day. And honestly, a lot of people that I talk to pretty much eat the same things every day. It's not like you gotta eat a ton of different things. I'm going to work with a nutritionist and hopefully develop some better plans for people who need help to make sure that we are getting the nutrition we need every day. But on top of that, I just want to mention one other thing, which I will talk about more next time, and that is genetics. I had my genetics tested. I found out I have one of these MTHFR type genes, which like half the population has this mutation. So I wouldn't even call it a genetic mutation, but it affects how you absorb B vitamins, how you process them. So my doctor has me taking methylated vitamins. This means that the B vitamins are methylated, so my body, which has a hard time doing that anyway, can actually get more B vitamins. And many of you know B vitamins are crucial to supporting your central nervous system and a healthy central nervous system. So I really highly recommend looking into genetics if you're able, if you can afford to get that testing done, if you can get in to see a doctor who understands it. I think this is going to be really crucial in helping prevent problems like this in the first place, and helping people heal who seem to be stuck. Okay, I think that's everything. Oh, if I don't do a smoothie in the afternoons, I will do protein bars now, because I'm trying to get 150 milligrams, and that's a lot. I don't ever make it to 150. It's like 120. There are some natural bars, Quest bars. Some of them are natural, some aren't. Some of them are flavored with sucralose. So the ones that are kind of safer for me would be the strawberry, the lemon, I believe the cinnamon, and the banana and the coconut flavor. So kind of the fruit flavor ones. There are also bars called Rise bars, which are even more natural than these. And then there are bars called Be Up bars that are also very natural. I've started incorporating those. I do well with them if I'm out and about, which I am more so now, and I need my snack right at 3 because I cannot wait. I have to snack. I'll eat one of these. All right, so I'm hoping to come back with more information, answer some more questions. Please share below what helps you, what things you eat that you feel work well for you, and maybe we can kind of come together as a community and truly help ourselves to alleviate the severity of this process for so many, and to speed up the recovery for those who are still finding themselves in that hole. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.